But I'm going to have another publication out here soon that will deal with power. I mentioned to you before I'm going to do a 10-week series on power. That series is still coming. I've written out 9 of the lectures. I'm writing the 10th one, and once it's written, you will get the flyers. But one of the things you have to recognize, and that is that you must think of yourself as a nation within a nation. This is the other insidious effect of individualism and buying this idea that America is what it is and its families are what they are as a result of individual effort and all of that stuff I talked to you about earlier. We can reshape the black family through our own economic effort. But let me just run a quick paradigm I run in other instances. If you look at us as a nation, we are really separated from other nations. We talk about the black nation within a nation. Frankly, you need to analyze, to begin with, the white nation within a nation. There's really not a nation of peoples on this continent. There is a white nation on this continent with the other people on the outside, okay? And you have tribes like the Koreans and the Arabs and some others, and then you have us who are more kin to clans than we are to nations. But we are really excluded. But the situation is we are locked into these inner cities, we are surrounded by these other folk. And if you look at it in terms of the relationship of nations, what we are suffering from as a black nation is a negative trade balance. That is, more of our wealth is flowing out than flows in, okay? We are suffering from a major national debt. You see what the national debt is doing to this nation as a whole? This nation now cannot even stimulate jobs for its own people. It cannot create jobs for its own people. That is, where it makes you build roads and rebuild bridges and infrastructures where you could give millions of people's jobs sponsored by the government so that those people, once they get paid by the government, will spend money and increase business and this way start up the economy and create employment for themselves. This is what governments do, you know. You see, why? Because it is so indebted, it owes so much money, until in order to do this, it would have to borrow more money. Or it would have to send the nation into inflation by going into debt. So it's caught in a catch-22. It does not have the money that it needs to stimulate its own economy. And of course, what's going to happen, and what you can see happening already, is social breakdown and disorganization. Think about it in terms of a family. If you got more money flowing out of your family than you got coming in, you owe more in credit than you are earning. Your creditors begin to own your family. They take their money before you can feed your own children. After a while, your children will be in rebellion. How can you tell me what to do? You ain't bringing up money in this house. How can you have authority over me? You can't protect me. Next thing you know, your daughter's going into prostitution. I got to make some money somehow. You ain't bringing nothing in. You're paying it all out. Or what? Your son is into the drug trade, right? Well, I got to get money somehow. You can't earn enough, so forth. And now the family's in rebellion. Order breaks down. That's what happens to nations. When nations are indebted and their money is flowing out, they cannot support their institutions. The authority of the government begins to fail. The relationship between its groups and segments begin to be characterized by conflict. And what you have then is a collapse and a falling in of a people. To a very great extent, the collapse, the disorganization of the black community, the criminality and violence of the black community is resulting from the fact that we are letting all of our wealth be shipped out of this community. We're even letting our human wealth be shipped out. We train our youngsters and we ship them out to other communities. Even the money they earn, because they're not living with us, cannot be spent with us because we don't own the businesses. We cannot create jobs for our children and so forth. And their organizational skills and so forth are not available to us. And so consequently, we lose on all levels. And in a way, the more we educate our youngsters and the more we send them out into the world and cannot make a place for them to live within our community, we get more and more concentrated poverty.